Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up Cricket powered by Pavilion Picks. This is your host Praatibh. I've also got Megha alongside me. Unlike yesterday where we had a bunch of international news as well, today is mostly just the IPL. There's a lot of developments, there's a lot of things to talk about. But before we get into things, hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with your friends, leave your comments down below, and let's get right into it.
Lot of things and a lot of runs to talk about. By the way, it's attendance time in the comment section, and looks like the regular viewers are there on
Oh,
time.
what's up,
Let's
gang?
get
Top of the
started.
morning.
Good morning, everyone. Abhishek's 135 unbeaten blows a Delhi Capitals away. Abhishek Sharma played within himself to bat through a full 20 over IPL innings for the first time and still ended up with 135 not out of 68. Sunrisers Hyderabad's consequent 242 for 2, with supporting vigour provided by Ishan Kishan and Andre Klassen, was more than enough against one of the hitting lightweights of this year's IPL, Delhi Capitals. The win took SRH level on number 2 with Royal Challengers Bangalore and Rajasthan Royals, but the others have a game in hand. This was Abhishek's ninth T20 100, taking him level with Virat Kohli for most centuries for an Indian. Only three men have more T20 hundreds than him. He equaled his own record for most sixes in an innings for an SRH batter, 10, and made this his second entry in top 5 IPL scores. It was always going to be a tough ask for DC against a strong bowling lineup at home. Nitish Rana playing more as an off spinner for the three left-handed batters at the top kept SRH at bay with a 50, but the asking rate kept soaring. Three wickets in the 10th and 11th overs to Ishan Malinga and Shakib Hassan ended the contest, leaving DC 137 to get off 58 balls. And as off spinner, Rana went for 55 in his four.
I like how that last line very nicely highlights that Nitish Rana, the person they picked because he balls off spin, got hit for 55 runs. And that just puts into context yesterday's match and the kind of story it was, right? A lot of people were saying that Abhishek Sharma yesterday was playing within himself. And they were saying this because at some point early on in his innings, he was 21 of 12 odd deliveries. And he was essentially a little watchful, right? More so Travis said as compared to Abhishek Sharma. But then Nitish Rana comes on in, I think, the fifth over and he gets banged for two sixes back to back, and that's where the innings really takes off for Abhishek Sharma. And what a knock it was. He's ended up with 10 fours and 10 sixes in under 60 deliveries. I think he eventually got 235 not out, and he still managed to bat conveniently very easily at a strike rate of over 200. It didn't even feel like he was trying, and that's how good Abhishek Sharma can be, which is also why I think it was important for him to take a little bit of time at the start. I know a lot of us are strike rate and intent merchants, and we want the batters to go from the first ball. That's also why we kind of fell in love with the kind of game that Abhishek Sharma has. But all things considered, and the ups and downs of the SRH top order, especially, I think they were clearly given a message to just take a little bit of time, see what the pitch is doing. And they did exactly that. I think very watchful early on, and even against the matchup of off spin, which caused some problems to him in the T20 World Cup. It was not the case this time around because let's face it, Nitish Rana is not really a threatening off spinner, and he was bowling some absolute dollies. But that's what got the innings started, and then from there to just keep carrying on, bat out the entire innings is something that we will want to see more of from Abhishek Sharma. Eventually, a very convincing win, and there's not much more to add except Orange Army are now in second place, if I'm not wrong.
Hmm. Well, if Ashwin is awake, grab hold of him and get him to talk about Abhishek Sharma. Any which way, Ayush Mhatre ruled out of IPL 2026 with hamstring injury. Chennai Super Kings batter Ayush Mhatre has been ruled out of IPL 2026 with a left hamstring injury. The 18-year-old suffered the injury while batting during CSK's previous game against Sunrisers Hyderabad on April 18th. Ayush's injury will require a rehabilitation period of 6 to 12 weeks. We wish Ayush a speedy recovery, CSK posted on social media. They are yet to name a replacement. Mhatre walked into bat as an impact player for fast bowler Gurjapneet Singh in the second over of CSK's chase of 195 against SRH. He was on 30 of 12 balls when he clutched his left hamstring after completing a two on his captain Ruturaj Gaikwad's call. He immediately looked in pain and was attended to by CSK's physiotherapist. Mhatre resumed his innings after the on field treatment but hobbled for a single next ball. He was dismissed on the following delivery. It looks pretty bad, unfortunately. He's going to be a big, big loss because he's been in a really nice touch for us, Mike Hussey, the CSK batting coach, said after the game. Mhatre is CSK's leading run scorer so far this tournament with 201 runs and 6 innings at a strike rate of 177.87. CSK have Urval Patel in the squad who could come in and bat at number 3. The wicketkeeper batter played 3 games last season and scored 68 runs, striking at 212.50.
Now the Ayush Matre thing is quite impactful, right? Because he was the highest run scorer for CSK so far in the season. In fact, one of the few batters who was consistently getting good scores and was doing it at a decent clip, as you can see, 177.8. But more than the team itself, I think even for Ayush Matre, my heart goes out to him because coming into the tournament as well, he didn't have the best under 19 World Cup. He didn't have the best under 19 run as captain. Eventually, of course, as captain, he did well, but from a batting point of view, got shuffled around the order, was opening and then went to number 3 because of the exploits of Aaron George as well as Vaibhav Suryavanshi. For him to then come into the IPL after all of the things that had happened and for him to start scoring runs was a really good sign. Something that I've also talked about before is the second season syndrome, right? Where a lot of these players in the first season they get away with things, they're able to score runs or take wickets because they're kind of new, there's not much data on them, and you can kind of surprise the opposition, so to speak. Whereas when you come in the next season, especially having played the under 19 cricket, especially being in the eyes of a lot of people, people tend to work you out. Oppositions tend to know what works against you. And even despite all of that, Ayush Matre was going on to have a really good season. So it's quite the bummer for him. But at the same time, I think CSK don't have much to worry about. Of course, there'll be some replacement that probably comes in, but they have Urvil Patel. Now, I'll just talk about Urvil Patel's numbers, right? For Gujarat this time around, he was the second highest run scorer in the Syed Mushtaq Ali. And more than the runs that he scored, it was the manner in which he scored them. He absolutely bludgeoned the ball. He obviously got this blistering century in this mat, but overall, he's got an average of 32 across 7 innings. His strike rate 243. I don't think we've seen too many higher strike rates in that. And yeah, that's more like I'm kind of excited to look at what Urvil Patel brings to the table if he gets a game.
Moving on to the next story. Probably not at her best as of now, Deepti's slump adds to India's bowling worries. Deepti Sharma came into India's T20I series against South Africa fresh from being named Wisden's leading female player of 2025 and with good reason. She was the leading wicket taker at last year's ODI World Cup thanks largely to the 5 for 39 she took against South Africa in the final. She also scored a run of ball 58 in that match, which was 6 runs more than India's eventual victory margin. Add to that, she was also India's second highest wicket taker in T20Is. Calling her the best all rounder of the last year is no understatement. But things haven't gone quite as well in 2026. In 5 T20Is, Deepti has batted 4 times and scored 3 runs. She's only taken 1 wicket. In this series, she was India's least economical bowler in the first T20I and conceded 24 runs in 13 balls. Things improved in match 2, where her 3 overs cost 23 runs, but she's gone wicketless. With less than 2 months to go for the T20 World Cup, is there a reason to be concerned? Deepti is a champion player. We all know that. 1 or 2 games or 3 games do not justify the kind of talent she has, the kind of performance she has done over the years. We know that she's been a champion player, champion bowler, champion batter, champion all rounder throughout her career. Avishkar Salvi, India's bowling coach, said at the Wanderers, where the third and fourth matches of the series will be played. This is a stage where she's probably not at her best as of now, but going back to the drawing board, she's working hard in the camp, she's working hard on her fitness, she's also working hard on her bowling in the nets. She's always taking up those challenges where she's also bowling against the batter. She's also doing target bowling practice and she is discussing all her game plans when she wants to use during the games and things that she wants to apply in the games. It's only a matter of few instances where probably she just strikes and she comes back shining.
Now, clearly, the target bowling practice is not working for Deepti Sharma because this year, a lot of people will say it's recency bias that only in the last couple of series is where she's struggled with the ball as well as the bat. But we went as far back as the last T20 World Cup, right? And since then, Deepti Sharma has played about 18 games of T20I cricket. Of course, not as much as she would have liked in terms of volume because of the fact that there was an ODI World Cup where she did really well. She was the player of the tournament, but specifically in T20Is since the last World Cup, she's been dismal with the bat. She's averaged 6.5 odd. She's not even got 50 runs across these 18 games in about 8 or 9 innings. And strike rate at that point does not really matter. But if you want to know, her strike rate in that case is 95. So the biggest concern with Deepti was the fact that she wasn't batting well. But now, because of the fact that she's also not picking up wickets, it really sort of begs the question as to whether or not she warrants a place in the squad, especially when there's enough players who can come in and do the job, right? Shiyanka Patil, she's returned to the squad, she's picking up wickets, fairly economical in the same ballpark as Deepti Sharma. And so you don't have a reason to play two off spinners. The only reason Deepti was getting the spot is because she can bat as well as bowl. But the moment her batting goes out of the picture, maybe you can bring in someone like Radha Yadav, and that's really where things are at, because Radha Yadav in the domestic circuit has done well, in the WPL has scored few runs and done it at a strike rate much better than Deepti Sharma.
Ashwin, go back to sleep. You're chasing away the commentators, the ones commenting. GT's middle order exposed, but the problem might be higher up. The Gujarat Titans middle order, not for the first time this season, has come in for criticism after they collapsed to 100 all out in 15.5 overs to go down to Mumbai Indians by 99 runs in the IPL 2026 match on Monday. The spotlight turned on Washington Sundar, Glenn Phillips, and Rahul Tewatia alongside Shah Rukh Khan, who scored 57 between them, with Washington the only one scoring at a strike rate of over 150, and both Phillips and Tewatia scoring in the 70s. 14 runs from 19 balls combined. The core of that batting lineup hasn't changed from IPL 2025. Shubman Gill, B. Sai Sudarshan, and Joss Butler are the top three. Phillips is new, Shafin Rutherford is gone, but Shah Rukh and Tewatia were there last year and are still there. Last season, Shah Rukh scored 179 runs at a strike rate of 179, and Tewatia had 99 runs in 59 at 167.79. That GT finished in third place on the league table was primarily down to Sai Sudarshan, Gill, and Butler having great seasons, often leaving the middle order with not much to do. This season, Gill and Butler are among the runs, but have not been as prolific as in 2025. Sai Sudarshan hasn't gotten going, and the middle order, which has gotten more hits as a result, has been out of their depth. The middle order was undoubtedly exposed today, Matthew Hayden, GT's batting coach, said at the press conference after the game, but felt the top order failure made it tougher for the rest. The thing about power play is that you can't win it from there, especially in a run chase, but you can definitely lose it. And we lost it in the power play. Sai Sudarshan, Butler, and Gill were gone in 4.4 overs.
The only reason that I picked out this news to be spoken about today is because of what Matthew Hayden has said. Because he goes on to say that the power play is possibly not as important. I don't know if it's paraphrased or directly quoted. It says it's directly quoted, but a power play is essentially one of the most important things in the T20 game. It's the best time to bat, however you look at it. Just two fielders outside. The ball is new and hard, which means that it's going to ping off the bat more easily, which means that if you get a good start in the power play, or conversely, with the kind of bowling attack that Gujarat Titans have, if they're able to pick up wickets up front, that essentially sets up the game for you. So I don't know what Hayden is on about. And for him to even admit the simple fact that the middle order just got too much time to bat clearly shows that they have no confidence in that middle order, which begs to a bigger problem and points to a bigger problem, right? Because the template that Gujarat Titans have had for the longest time is that one of their top three is able to bat all the way till the end, and the others just kind of bat around them. So it's quite understandable that they're struggling. But at the same time, that is no excuse with the middle order that they have, with the fact that they have someone like Washington Sundar who essentially can play that anchor finishing role if need be. I don't know if they've used him too well. There was that one innings where he absolutely blistered away 42 or 15 odd deliveries. But since then, it's been up and down. And with Shah Rukh Khan and Rahul Tewatia, I think Tewatia needs to go. It's been long enough where he's not scored any kind of significant runs. And his entry points, only if he comes in the 18th over, is making any kind of sense whatsoever.
Anyway, so it's like a chicken and egg situation where
Pretty much.
he's not been getting chances. When he's been getting chances, is he justifying those chances? By the
Not at
way,
all.
if you do not find my reaction appropriate to what you're saying, you know where and what to attribute it to. The comment section. Meanwhile, Bumrah bowls the first over and it just kicks belief into MI. In the five IPL 2026 matches Mumbai Indians had played before their demolition of Gujarat Titans on Monday, their first overs had been bowled by Deepak Chahar three times, Trent bowled twice. MI had won just one of those games, and Jasprit Bumrah didn't have a wicket against his name. On the three occasions Chahar had opened the bowling, Bumrah had bowled the second overs and the fifth and fourth on the other occasions. It's still opening the bowling if you send down the second over, you think, but overs work differently in T20s these days. And a second over is quite different from the first, which is what Bumrah bowled against GT. The first wicket of B. Sai Sudarshan came off his very first delivery. Enough for Faf Duplessis to joke. You feel like it's going to be a recurring thing for now for the rest of the games. If Bumrah bowls the first over, you can afford to, with three other pace bowling options, not have a power play specialist per se. Abhinav Mukund said on ESPN Cricket First Time Out show, they bowl Trent bowled, they tried Chahar, and for the first time since 2022, Jasprit Bumrah gets to bowl the first over and not when teams up 40 for no loss, 50 for no loss, 60 for no loss. It's been no loss throughout the season except against Delhi Capitals every time he's come on to bowl. On this occasion, it was 0 for 0. He comes in and then suddenly he strikes, and you end up seeing a difference. I'm not saying the first over wicket was the turning point of the game, but I'm just saying the affordability to do that against a side like Gujarat Titans was so who aren't so great rather in the middle overs against spin. So you decided to go with two spinners, sort of adds up to this game.
Now, before I get into the psyche of why this works, I have to address the comment section because there is a petition or a requirement or a request for Ashwin to wear a blazer tomorrow when he comes on for the live because I'm not going to be doing it tomorrow. Ashwin said either of us is going to wear the blazer. It's only going to be Ashwin, lads. But if you want to see that, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't already, share this. I don't know what you're doing. I don't want you to call anyone sir, but now that you said it, either Pratibh or me will be wearing a blazer. Not me,
Ashwin has been
but that
knighted.
man definitely will. I can guarantee that. Damn, there's some very interesting comments, but I think
In
we'll get to them
Bangalore,
towards
maybe
the
you
end.
can in May once it starts raining.
I wish, but the whole of the country is going through a really hot temperature, heat wave, so to speak. So no, it's not gonna
Welcome
happen.
to the club,
Bangalore is
Bangalore.
burning right now. We'll all call Ashwin sir if he wears a blazer tomorrow. Now that I can get behind, I'm actually very excited now to see him in a blazer, and I know he's the kind of person who can pull something off like that. It's what we do. That's right. Ashwin sir arc begins tomorrow. Okay, I'll come back to the news
Bumrah
itself.
would be getting FOMO.
Possibly. Is Bumrah? Yeah, Bumrah's also turned up in a blazer. He's turned up in the Indian Test blazer as
Yeah.
captain. I was just trying to connect two things. But yeah, like the psyche is very straightforward, right? Something that pretty much everyone's been raving about is give Bumrah the first over, give him the best time to bowl. Why do you not want your strike bowler, your best bowler to come and get you wickets? And finally, they conceded with nothing going their way. And the first match that they do it is a return, is a victory. Tilak Verma also gets an all important century. Bumrah gets a wicket in that first over, which is great. And the idea isn't that that one wicket is going to change the game, but the idea is that it gives you momentum. And that's the psyche I was talking about, where uh, especially if you've seen any kind of cricket games, especially when you look at these kind of games where the smallest of moments make such a huge impact, you want to have that kind of momentum. Of course, after the kind of batting performance that they had on the day, Mumbai Indians already had momentum coming into it. But if they were going to be fought, but if Gujarat were going to be 40 or 50 for no loss, then it kind of takes away a little bit of that momentum, however big the target might be. And so Bumrah, like right after that brilliant batting performance, he comes into the first over, gets that first wicket, and that just reinforces so much confidence into the entire squad, right? Suddenly you believe that you can do things that you've mostly not been able to do the entire season, and especially with Mumbai Indians' track record, it makes sense.
What also makes sense is what's happening in the comment section and what you have by the way of memes.
All right, lads, can we have the beam? Well, I think pretty self-explanatory. There's no way I'm spending 3 minutes explaining this meme. SRH bowling after benching Purple Patel and slow ball Unnadkat. Clearly, one of the biggest concerns with the Sunrisers Hyderabad was how their bowling is going to do. A lot of their bowlers were injured, a lot of replacements coming in, and the Indian bowlers, the seasoned veterans in Purple Patel and Slow Ball, I keep saying Snowball, Unnadkat, just weren't getting things right. They were getting tonked all over the place, which meant that you had the new bloods come in. You had the likes of Praful Hinge as well as Sakib Hussain come into the picture. And ever since they've come in, it's just been, as you can see, it's been a quartet of fast bowling that other batters just can't seem to identify. And that's essentially what the meme's about. I'm not going to say much more. Clean shave arc begins soon is being asked for Ashwin. That's all I'm going to say. Let me see if I can bring that comment up. I
Well, you've
can't.
constantly
I think
been
that's something that Mukunda will have to do. Chat, make Pratip spend 3 minutes explaining the meme. Damn. All right. So basically, in the
yeah.
meme,
Hmm.
there are four West Indian fast bowlers, the feared quartet from the 1980s. And at the time, there was no helmets as well, or a lot of batters did not wear helmets either. which meant that because all of these people were towering units and would come in and ball their bouncers, they were all 6 feet plus, and then their hand was another 3 feet, and then they would jump, which meant that the ball was coming from 11 feet, and then they'd bounce you and you'd get hit, and then it would be pretty nasty. I don't think SRH bowlers have the same kind of hostility to them, but they're surely being effective. They're getting the wickets. Ashwin, I think I've spent 3 minutes on this. So we're going to wrap up with
It's
what
like a
game is
mock
coming
epic.
tomorrow. Sorry?
It's like a mock epic. But
Epic.
probably you kept using the word snowball because of how things have snowballed in the comment section.
Fair. Yeah, there is a lot of, especially since RR started their second half choke arc again. That's real channel 2. Very real. As an RR supporter, it really hurts,
Huh.
but it's something I've come to expect over the years. So I don't get my hopes up. And for the Mumbai Indians fans, it's the opposite, where they always have their hopes up because Mumbai Indians just has a horrible first half all the time. Right. So the game today
Pratik,
is,
sorry
yeah,
to interrupt. You keep talking about second season blues. Your team
yeah,
has a second half blues. And
that is
though the
true.
second half hasn't technically begun yet.
Oh, that is fair. But they're almost there, right? I think almost all teams are now at 6 or 7 games. So they'll
Not
eventually
everybody
get there.
began with four back to back.
Fair. Are you a Gujarat Titans fan by any chance? Okay, fair. All right. I I was saying that we'll take only less than 3 minutes, but we're way over time. I've explained the meme. I've explained West Indian fast bowlers. Channel 2 is a Royals fan, maybe. But the game today is LSG versus Rajasthan Royals, which is going to be an interesting fixture. Rajasthan Royals have 2 back-to-back losses. LSG has 3 back-to-back losses. So both of them will want to clear that slate and start afresh for the rest of the season. Obviously, Rajasthan are much better placed. They will be able to, I will hope that they can get the victory. And yeah, that's really it. That's it from us today at Wake Up Cricket powered by Pavilion Picks. Thank you for being such sports in the chat. Clean shave arc begins soon for Ashwin. Yeah, I'm pretty okay. I can possibly clean shave for the next live if that's what you guys want. But I hope it brings us engagement because otherwise it's pointless. But yeah, that's it from us. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.